What's going on, you beautiful human? You're listening to the Spiritual Show podcast from thespiritualroom.co. This podcast is a space where we blend ancient wisdom with new age teachings around spirituality, awakening, quantum physics, astrology, and more. Join us for weekly episodes where we dive deep into this truth and expand our consciousness as a collective. Hey, what's going on, you beautiful light being? It's your host, Danielle Grant, and I'll be your guide on today's spiritual show. The universe decided that my Tuesday episode was not supposed to be released, which honestly was an interesting experience, but I completely surrendered to it, and here we are today with this one. Today's show is going to be a bit different, though. I'm going to be sharing a live stream that I did on the anger and separation and the understanding of the vibes that you are in right now, but not just you, the vibes that the world is in right now. We're going to dive deep into the chakra system, understand the emotions and experiences that live within those energy centers. And if you want to watch this live and see the visuals that I'm talking about, head to the Spiritual Show podcast on YouTube. The link is down below in the show notes. And one thing I did mention is that I've done 50 live streams and many of the topics are spiritual. So if you are interested, you can click the link in the show notes to check those out. Again, you can check those out. And I guess I should just also say as well that if you're interested in learning more about me, you can also see my personal podcast, which is called the Mind Vibe Podcast. And I will make sure that I link that up as well. And if you enjoyed today's episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, as that helps more people learn about the podcast. All right, let's roll into today's show. This podcast is brought to you by The Spiritual Room. The Spiritual Room is a high vibe container helping you awaken, deepen, and expand your knowledge of the spiritual self. The Spiritual Room is your space to feel supported as you awaken to your highest self as we navigate the energies towards the new earth, an earth of higher consciousness. Every month, the Spiritual Room hosts free and paid offerings to support your spiritual awakening and ascension journey. Head to www.thespiritualroom.co to check out what they have going on this month. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to share with you some of the offers and events that thespiritualroom.co is going to be featuring for the month of February. So I have up here on the screen, if you're watching the video, then you'll see at the Spiritual Room. One of the first things we have going on is we have the higher work and 30-day experience. This is something that starts next Saturday, February 12th. It's a 2.5-hour workshop. If you are unable to make it, you can obviously watch the recording. You have access to it 24/7. And then beyond that, there's a 30-day mindfulness experience, which is helping you actually incorporate and take action on the things that you're learning in the workshop, which is the part where most people fall down around accountability. So I did include a 30-day experience that you're going to go through on the app for the Spiritual Room. And if that is of interest to you, then I recommend that you check it out and go ahead and grab your spot. When you click on this, it will bring up the page and you'll be able to learn more about that offer. The other thing that we have is we have created a free masterclass on intuition, and there's no opt-in because we just really honestly want you to watch it, and we don't want the barrier of you needing to give an email address if you don't want to. So if you go to thespiritualroom.co on the homepage, you'll see here the free masterclass on intuition. Yes, it is an opportunity for you to learn more about the Reclaim Your Higher Self opportunity, but it's a 45-minute class full of value, and I encourage you to go ahead and check it out. And then the last thing, what was the other thing I had on my list here? The last thing that we have is the Mindfulness Playbook class. I've actually changed this class a little bit, and I've reduced the price down to $27, so you can get access to this for a 2-hour workshop on meditation and mindfulness, which also goes hand in hand with the Reclaim Your Power, and you can purchase that for $27. So if you want to head to the spiritualroom.co, you can check those out there, or you can head to the spiritualroom.co offerings page and you can check that out. The other thing I should say while we're on here is there is also a blog that we have, and I'm just going to stop share. I'm going to share this tab instead. So on here, you'll see when you click on blog up here, these are all the different blogs that we've put out so far at the Spiritual Room. And there's tons of different ones. You can find the podcast on here. There was just a manifestation law of attraction series that I personally contributed and put out, but you can go to thespiritualroom.co/blog and you can check those all out. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys that information today as the Spiritual Room offerings are up and running, and there is something in there for everybody, whether you're looking for the free masterclass, you're interested in the $27 mindfulness playbook class, or you would like to dive deeper into understanding your higher self, connecting to your intuition, and doing that through a 30-day experience, then you're going to want to go ahead and register for the Reclaim Your Higher Self, workshop, and 30-day experience. All right, let's roll into today's episode. We are live. What is going on, you beautiful human? I'm over here in the corner. Hello. Happy Thursday. I didn't even know what day it was. Anyways, what's going on? I'm just going to actually stop sharing my screen here for a hot sec. Hi, welcome to my live stream extravaganza. I'm on day number 50. Can you believe it? I can't. Two things before we get into today's topic, which is a really great topic as per all of them, which is, are you feeling the anger and the separation of the world? I want to dive a little bit more deeper into it. I want to show you how this is showing up in your chakra system and energetically, and how you emotionally might be feeling this. But there's two things I want to mention before. So if you're tuning in live right now, let me know in the comments that you're here. Say what's up. If you're watching the replay, you know what to do. Watch the replay. And if you haven't seen the other 50 of these that I've done, you can head to my profile and you can rewatch them. And there's all different topics. But I got a message the other day from someone who asked if I show up to all of my live streams in my pajamas. And I kind of laughed. It was obviously a joke, but I kind of laughed and I was like, no, I don't. As you can see, I'm not in my pajamas today. Well, actually, you wouldn't know. Maybe the bottom of me is pajamas. But no, I don't. But the answer to that I actually gave them was, I don't put those stipulations or those boundaries on myself saying that I can only show up to a live stream if I look a certain way, because that's not true. And if I live in that place, then I will often find myself holding myself back. Whereas if I just allow myself a space to show up who I really am authentically, and what you see is what you get, it's going to create better content. It's going to provide more value because I'm not thinking about what I look like. So that's one of the reasons why I choose to show up in the way that I do, that it doesn't matter actually what you're wearing. And I learned that years ago. It matters what you're sharing and the value that you're providing. So if you're someone and you find yourself holding yourself back because of that, wear your pajamas, get on live stream. I haven't had one person other than that one person who kind of made it as a joke reach out. So it doesn't actually matter. It's only what you perceive to be true in your head. Hey, Kennedy, what's going on today? Kennedy, I sent you a Slack message that's really important. If you haven't seen it, I think that you should go check it out. Anyways, I can feel it. She's on her way to a race out in Montreal. I can feel it, just taking extra measures to spread kindness. Yes. So the other thing that I wanted to say today is I just got off a call with a client, and I want to remind you that you can't see what you can't see. And what I mean by that is, the reason why people have coaches or they have mentors, they have someone in their life that can reflect things back to them, and myself included, is because we often don't have the ability or the awareness to think openly or critically on what we're doing. And we are only in what we can see. And when you have someone from the outside helping you see what you can't see, it makes a big difference. And that is the power in having someone on the outside that you trust their opinion and you value what they say, because we get so in our head and then we get stuck in a certain place and we don't realize it until someone points it out, like, hey, this is how you were thinking, but what your reality is actually reflecting is this other thing. There's a lot of power in that. And I just share that with you because we sometimes might feel judged, or we just don't think we have the money, or we don't think we're worthy of it, or we don't think that it's worth it. But having that outside set of eyeballs and outside perception, it makes a big difference, and can be the difference between where you are now and actually where you're trying to get to. So just wanted to remind you of that today. Cool. So the topic today I talked about was feeling the anger and separation of the world. This is a really good one, because right now in the world, we are extremely separated. And in fact, we've been separated from our higher self for like thousands of years. This is not new information, but we are right now in an experience where we're actually starting to no longer be separated from our spiritual self. Our human being and our spiritual being are actually coming together. And in order for that to come together, anything that kept us separated from that aspect of ourselves, then we need to clear. And that's what we're experiencing right now. And while there's a lot of anger and separation and hate and duality, different opinions, there's just a lot of heavy energies going on right now. That's happening because we're actually shifting. We're actually here to transmute those lower vibrational energies. This is also known as the spiritual awakening. This is the spiritual ascension that we are in right now. But that has to happen when we go through this experience. And so I'm bringing this up because over the last 24 hours, I should also just make a little note. One of the reasons why I am so in tune with the energies of the planet is because through my meditation practice and through my reflection, my journaling practice, I've allowed myself the ability to detach from a lot of things in my life. And when you do that, you don't get impacted by things that happen in your reality. You're actually able to control your emotions, which are just energy. And that's due to attachment and detachment, ultimately at the root of it. And so I have found myself in a much more grounded place over the last really 6 years, and more so the last 4 years, because I've spent more of my time as an entrepreneur, being a business owner, doing this stuff. So not much stuff really irritates me very much. Like, I'm pretty open to seeing the duality in it. I'm pretty open to seeing why we're in it. I understand that this experience is an illusion, and it's like, whether you believe that to be true or not, whatever. But I'm pretty grounded. So when there's significant shifts energetically on the planet, which we're all consciously connected with one another, people like myself who are grounded or very empathetic people, like really feel other people's energies, are impacted the greatest. But we are also the people that are here to hold those energies when the collective who are asleep are not able to understand what that is. And so if you're feeling any sort of anger or separation, but you're internalizing it in your body and you're feeling it in your chest and your heart area, kind of like on this area up, it's because we're shifting that energy. And I say that because if you're not aware to it, you think you have anxiety or you think something's going on with you. There's nothing going on with you. What's going on is that the collective is shifting. The collective is changing from a 3D reality to a 4 and 5D reality, which just means that the rate at which Earth vibrates at is increasing, which allows us to hold more conscious energy. But in order for us to hold higher conscious energy, we can't hold on to lower vibrational energy, which are the things in the 3D, which is the separation, which is the anger. So I'm going to pull up, and this is what I've been experiencing. I've been experiencing this for the last few days, and it's been, or last 24 hours, and it's been really intense for my physical being. And I've learned to just surrender and just to allow and to be in it. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I spent the morning in doing some yoga because I wanted to get into those energies and to shift them. So I'm doing the things that I know that I can do to actually allow myself to just surrender to the moment, because I can't escape it. None of us can. And so you have to find what in your life you need to be doing that can allow you to stay grounded in this specific time, especially because there's so much anger and separation going on. But I'm going to bring up now the chakra system, and maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not, but I'm going to show you kind of what's going on energetically. And I'm going to show you the emotions that are in those spots so that it can maybe help you understand this a little bit better. Neil, what is going on? Neil, got a new profile picture and I'm into it. Neil, I like it. I'm into it. I wanted to send you a message earlier and I didn't get a chance to do it. So I'll share that now. Kennedy says that pressure or internalization in the upper body was so strong as I was in the airplane today. I also didn't sleep much last night. Yeah. Those of us that are awake to what's going on and have been awakening for the last few years, since 2012 specifically, are feeling this more than anybody. And you don't have to associate or identify as being an empath, which are most people who feel these would say that they're empaths. We're all empathic because we're all energetic beings. So it doesn't mean that because you're not that person or you haven't identified as that, which you don't need to identify as that, you're not feeling this, because you are. Everybody is to some degree. Whether or not they want to believe it to be true is, well, that's up to them. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the chakra system here and we're going to chat about it quick. So over here, you see this is your chakra system. If this is the first time that you're seeing this, welcome. If this is not the first time that you're seeing this, let's keep diving into it. So these are energy centers that you can't see with the physical eye, that live exactly in alignment with your spine, with the ascension of your being. And in each one here, this is the root chakra down here. This is the root chakra. We have the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then we have the crown. So what I'm talking about is actually from this level up. And I've recently actually been talking about David Hawkins' consciousness scale, which is also in alignment with this if you want to start studying that, working hand in hand. But what we're experiencing here is really in the heart center. And the reason why we're experiencing it in the heart center, as you can see, is blocked by grief. The world for the last 2 years has been under this underlying blanket of fear and grief. And so that is why we feel it more so in our heart center, because, well, that's actually the spiritual connection to, or the connection to our spiritual self. As we ascend up these energy centers, that's the first place that really starts to shift from the human self to the spiritual self. And everyone has this. This isn't like for one person or the other. Everyone experiences this. So that's why we start to identify it here. And part of the reason why we're here is because we're so separated from love. We have so much anger and hate in our world right now. We have so many opinions. We have so many mass psychosis going on, that there is not a lot of love. And as much as there is a lot of love and unity, and specifically in my country of Canada, we are coming together and it's like amazing, there is still greater separation at this current moment than there is alignment with love. And so that's why you feel it more so in here, is because you're feeling what the collective is feeling. You're feeling how disconnected we are, where half of us are living in grief and half of us are living in love. And I'd almost go as far as saying there's probably more people asleep with love or with grief right now than there is people in love. However, love is a stronger vibration. So more of us that continue to stand in the power of love allow those that are not to actually ascend. That was a really powerful thing that I just said. So the other thing is your throat chakra, right? Deals with the truth and is blocked by lies. Well, what are we experiencing in our mainstream media right now? One might even go and say that we are experiencing some lies. We're seeing some suppression. So of course that aspect of us is going to be triggered. Now, we can feel all these things in the bottom chakras as well, as you're seeing, but where we're in right now is people waking up to their spiritual self. And when they awaken to that, it's the heart center, the chakra, that engages first, like I just said. And that's why we're dealing with this. That's why we're feeling it, because people are waking up and they're waking up to things that maybe they didn't want to wake up to, which is scary to anybody. Then you move to the crown chakra, and that's with insight and illusion. Same thing. We are in an illusion right now, greatly from the mainstream media and some of us in our political countries. And without insight or openness or critical thinking, it's very difficult to see beyond the illusion, which is why we are feeling it. So, and then obviously you go up to your crown chakra, which is cosmic energy and ego attachment. And that's the ultimate. But you can't get to that place unless you ascend up here with the energy. So last night I was really feeling heavy in my heart chakra. I felt like what we've interpreted as being anxiety. My chest was really heavy. My heart was pounding a lot. It felt really angry. It felt really angry in here, right? Like the frequency was mad. And I knew it wasn't mine, because I've been really rooted in love as we go through this, but I could feel it. And I was like, okay, the world is starting to shift significantly. And I just need to hold space for this, as you need to hold space for this. Regardless. And holding space is also being open to both sides of this conversation. Holding space is recognizing that some people are not on your belief system, and recognizing that they're allowed to be there, but also recognizing that when you stand in a more loving and a truthful state and vibration, you will impact those around you greater than telling them your opinion or getting mad at them or getting frustrated. And over the last few weeks, I have found myself in that place of anger and frustration with the people who aren't being open to seeing the whole perspective. But I realize and I recognize that that is not serving anybody, including myself. And so I had to drop into my heart center and just say, just be with more love, be open, support these people that are maybe not open to this, whether they believe it or not. I'm willing to look at their side, and that energy is allowing them to also be willing to look at my side. So what I want to talk about now is this heart chakra is, the most powerful chakra that we have. And that is why we have anxiety and depression, or this attachment of anxiety in that center, in that aspect of ourself, is because we don't want to tell people that we are spiritual beings first and foremost. And so when we feel something activity-wise, emotionally, energetically in that space, it's actually a spiritual thing. But because we don't talk about that in our society, we've associated it to anxiety, and then we take medication, and then we suppress. And then actually what you do is you continue to block every single one of these energy centers with pharmaceuticals, because that's what Big Pharma does, but speaking with love. So you have to be understanding that that's why you experience that there. And if you look at this one now, it says, the basic issues are love, acceptance, and compassion, right? People are having a hard time accepting what's happening right now. People are having a hard time being compassionate. People are having a hard time loving each other. You know what I mean? If balanced, you feel loving, empathetic, open-hearted, serenity, emotionally balanced, trustfulness, tolerance. If you're unbalanced, you feel lonely. Yeah. Have we not all felt lonely for the last few years and isolated? Yeah. Demanding, critical, jealous, cold-hearted, narcissistic, heart and lung problems, asthma, allergies. I'm just going to throw it out there in a very open way. What has this virus been targeting? The lungs, the heart center, the heart chakra? Yeah, we're in a war on consciousness. We're on a war on spiritual truth. They don't want people to awaken to this. So this live stream might not even make it because I'm talking like this, but like we need to be real now. We need to be having real conversations, and this is a real conversation. Some information is coming out, and it's showing us that perhaps This virus is not just a natural causing virus. However, on a higher perspective, it is absolutely supposed to be here. And this is how we're navigating the spiritual awakening and ascension. Without this experience for the last 2 years, we would not be able to ascend. So you also have to ground yourself in that. But you have to understand that what has been attacked for the last 2 years is our heart chakra, which is also why we're feeling it in our heart chakra the most right now, because as people awaken to not feeling so alone, like you're seeing in the convoy up here, people for so long thought they were alone. And then you see how many people feel like they're not alone anymore. Their heart chakra is moving a greater way now. They're not in fear based. They're not feeling lonely, right? So that's why we're collectively feeling it in here, especially right now. It's wild times out there. The other one is the throat chakra. Oh, I don't know why I didn't pull up the throat chakra. And just for anyone who's new to this is not something that I learned overnight. This is something that through personal experience of my physical being, did I come to understand the chakra system. And then did I further that understanding through the wisdom I was learning in Buddhism. And it's taken me years to really understand this. And now more than ever, especially owning my business and over the last 2 years, I've really been working within my chakras because I understand them. So just letting you know that this isn't something that happens overnight, but it is something that you need to continually educate yourself on, because it is something that your human vessel is bound towards. Neil says mainstream media was woke before woke became a popular word. Yeah, isn't that the truth, Neil? And on that note, I just want you guys to know there's a difference between woke and awake. Okay, woke and awake are not the same thing. In fact, I'm going to do a post about that. The convoy is creating a compound effect. Yes, but the convoy is creating a compound effect of frequency. They're bringing a frequency of unity and love and collectiveness, which is the heart chakra, right? That's exactly why it's creating a compound effect, because every one of us is connected in our heart chakra. And when one thing starts to gain momentum in that vibration, the whole world is impacted. And that is what you're actually seeing. So I'm so glad you said that, Neil. Your throat chakra, basic issues, communication, self-expression. Yeah, no one is allowed to express themselves right now, even in your own personal relationships and in your family. Do we wonder why people's throat chakras are having a problem? Why do you think you're getting sick right now? Because your throat chakra is clearing, right? If you balance, you feel peaceful, truthful, listening, good communication, strong self-expression, and peaceful. If you are someone and you are not in peace, you're not truthful, you're not open listening, you're not listening to both sides, you're in an angry place at the other side that's choosing their own opinion, you're most likely having a problem in your throat. Either you're sick or you're always coughing lots, feel like you need to clear a lot. Because your throat chakra is out of alignment. If you're unbalanced, you feel shy, weak voice, fear of speaking, unable to listen, lying, arrogance, thyroid, healing, throat problems. That's what I was just talking about. If you're unbalanced, you're going to feel these ways. Unable to listen. If you're unable to listen to the other perspective in an open way, you have a blocked throat chakra, right? And it's not about believing what they're believing. It's just being open to hearing what they have to say and then deciding for yourself if maybe there's anything in there that you needed to take out. You know what I mean? And the last one here that I was talking about is the third eye chakra. So this one is between the brows. This is the intuition, the vision, the perception. This is the next connecting point to your spiritual self within your physical being, is your third eye. This is, again, it gives you the awareness of what you can't see in the physical body. If balanced, you feel intuitive, guided, perceptive, clairvoyance, bright dreams, spiritual mental strength, and good vision. Yeah. If you feel balanced, you feel intuitive. Yeah. If you feel unbalanced, you feel lack of intuition and imagination, manipulative. Are you manipulating people right now? Panic, fear, nightmares, visions and eye problems, and migraines. Unfortunately, our world has blocked all of these for us time and time again. And over the last 2 years, it has significantly, continually blocked these aspects of ourselves. So when they start to open up collectively and when we start to clear them is when everyone starts to be impacted by them. If you're on the other side of imbalance of your chakras, like someone like myself who does things to keep herself grounded and keep the energy centers moving, you feel it more than anybody. If you're someone who's very closed off and your chakras are not moving the way that they should be, you are probably having a challenge physically, like an illness, the throat, the lung, something, right? There's a challenge. If you're awakening and you're kind of in between the two, you're starting to feel, but you're not sure if it's like anxiety. You're not sure. You think you have a headache because you're not sure about the third eye. So you're kind of in that in between stage because you're feeling it, but you're not able to say, oh, I understand it, because you're awakening to it. And that's exactly why we're in this experience. Right. And then people like me are like, oh shit, are you guys feeling it? Because I feel it. Let me help you understand why you're feeling it. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I think it's really important that there's me again. It's really important that you understand that this is actually what's activating right now. And this 2-year experience that we've been in has actually been a universal, divinely guided thing for us to consciously ascend. And the only way we ascend is through our chakra system, is through not just through our chakra system, through the change in our frequency and our vibration, which let's just show a picture, because why not go there today, Danielle? Your aura. Here we go, right? This is what your aura looks like. You think you're just some little body. I mean, there's all different ways you can look at it, but you think you're just some body. You're not. You're energy centers. You're an energy center around you. This is what it looks like. And so when you work in your chakra systems, when you awaken, when you heal yourself, when you look at this stuff, you change this. When you change this, that's when the reality changes, right? Here's the 7 layers of the aura, actually, the good one. The etheric body, emotional body, mental body, astral body, etheric template, celestial body, and then the casual body. So these are all centers. As you can see, they're the same colors as the chakras I just showed you, right? You can see here too, same colors. So when you work in your root chakra, you're working in your etheric body, which is your physical body, right? And then you have your sacral, which is your emotional. Then you have your solar, which is your mental. Then you move into the astral, right? That's what I was talking about, your spiritual self, your heart. Etheric is your throat, and then which is your voice, right? The truth. Celestial body is your third eye, which is that connection to your higher self. And then the casual body, which is your crown chakra. So every time you work in these chakra systems, or you're awakened to them, or you explore them, or you understand them, you actually impact this. And that's when your life starts to change. That's when things manifest. That's when law of attraction works. That's when things start aligning for you. So that's what I got for today's live stream extravaganza. And I said at the last live stream yesterday that I was going to talk about Brene Brown, and then I didn't. And after reflecting on that, I realized why I didn't, because part of the reason why I didn't is I no longer want to actually influence those conversations. Even though they're going on, it's not my purpose. My purpose is actually to show you how you're awakening, and it's very confusing. And those that have been asleep are awakening in this experience. And it's actually up to me to show you how you can navigate beyond the place that we're in right now. And I share that because sometimes we feel called to do things, and then we realize, oh, actually, that's not for me. And we have to be willing to let it go, because that kind of activity keeps me grounded in the 3D. And I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help you ascend. And if I keep talking in that arena, I'm attached in that arena. And so I'm going to ascend, and I'm going to start talking about how you might be experiencing shame, or how you might be accepting truth, or how you might be understanding that there's more to life than what we've been experiencing, which in my country was freedom and was happiness, and just was like happy-go-lucky people. And well, that's not true, as we're seeing that right now. We are those people, but the people that represent our country might not hold those values. And that's what we're awakening to. And that truth can be uncomfortable. So I'm not actually going to talk about it, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about stuff like this, because this is the stuff that matters. But I had that reflection, and I thought I would just share it with you, because it's important. Kennedy says the 2 outermost energy fields, blue and purple, have always been colors attracted to me. Yeah, of course they are, Kennedy, because those are your higher self. And we already know that you see colors like this all the time. You see the turquoise, the blue color all the time. And that is a mirror from the universe saying to you, hey, look, here's me, the universe, because you align with this aspect of you out of your third eye. This is the color that the human has represented it to. That's like the universe winking at you, like, hey girl, but are you willing to see it like that? I know that you are, but that's something to think about. When you look at colors constantly all the time, what are they showing you? Kennedy, we can even talk about the emotional body, which is orange, right? Sometimes you see the orange Tacoma. That doesn't mean positive or negative, but it's also the universe being like, hey, winking at you. I see you, this color. A deeper thing to that would be what in that chakra, what in that area, which is your solar plexus. Yeah, solar plexus. I'm like, is that right? It is right. Sorry, sacral. In your sacral, I always get those two mixed up. The sacral, what is in there that I'm still holding on to? That is why the universe keeps showing me this orange object, even though we know that it's something that you're manifesting and calling in anyways. But that's like the deeper conversation with it, if you want to go there. Neil says, I always feel the third eye when I do my afternoon meditation. Yeah, I think what that's showing you too, Neil, is like how consciously aligned you are throughout your day. Because if you are able to get into that state at the end of the day and see that color, look how consciously connected you were throughout your day, even though it's not all the time throughout the day, but you're standing more in a conscious alignment than you are in an ego alignment, in a root chakra alignment. And we know that to be true about Neil because, Neil shows up and he does the work, but that's why that's happening. And it's, again, another indicator, another signal from the universe of like winking, hey, I'm here showing you that you're more in alignment with this vibration than you are in that other vibration. So good. I'm glad that you guys were here today, Neil and Kennedy, obviously. And actually, both of you, I have an email coming out to you right after this. So you can wait for your email from me. And if you haven't already, I've been talking about the Reclaim Your Higher Self. It's a workshop and a 30-day mindfulness experience that I'm running next Saturday. So if you want to know more about that, send me a message and I will send you the information to register. This is a live offer, and it's the first time I've run this offer, but I'm really excited to. So if that speaks to you, then definitely reach out and let's connect. And if you haven't watched the rest of these, I encourage you to go back, check out my profile and watch them. If you feel someone needs to see them, please share it with them. Otherwise, I hope you have an absolute fantastic day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you tomorrow for another live stream extravaganza. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Namaste. Peace and love. Thanks for listening to The Spiritual Show with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation on the chakra system, the anger and separation the world is feeling, and how you can best navigate it. Join us for another episode next week. And as always, you can head to thespiritualroom.co to sign up for the weekly spiritual communication email. As well, check out the links and resources we have in today's show notes. That's all for the episode, beautiful human. See you in the next one. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at thespiritualroom.co and on the blog at thespiritualroom.co/blog. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.